Recently, Benchmade released a very controversial knife called bailout. The main controversy is a Rockwell hardness test of the blade showed 56 HRC, and another YouTube video showed that the knife, while hammered half an inch into a wooden block, and then pried holding the lanyard end of the handle from the lateral direction, breaks the plastic handle. This sparked a massive outrage on internet, hating the lowered hardness and the weak plastic handle. I actually lost a lot of sleep over this whole thing. I just bought and reviewed a Benchmade bailout. Please check it out on my channel. Seriously, I had not heard so much verbal abuse since President Trump had been elected. So how can such a well-established company like Benchmade make such a product that every knife collector can point out it's a screw-up? Or perhaps Benchmade has a good reason, and people misunderstood it. I think when they made this knife under the black class, the word professionals is the key word. And here it says the best equipment for the job. I emphasize, for the job. For example, if you use this knife to hammer a nail or drill a hole, you should know better it wouldn't work very well, because hammering and drilling holes is not a job for a knife at all, no matter what steel you make it out of. Honestly, for its softer steel heat treatment and plastic handle, I admit the Benchmade bailout should be at least $50 cheaper. And I agree that if this knife is a little heavier, like 3 ounces, but a little stronger, it wouldn't hurt anybody. I really respect these YouTubers, by the way. They sacrifice their own knives to do these videos. The links to these videos are in the description section of this video. One of the videos showed that this knife can step into aluminum panel without lock failure. So for a knife with plastic handle, it has far exceeded my expectation. But I just think today's YouTube videos can be taken out of context at times. And I think you should think for yourself what conclusions can be drawn from each video. The way the knife was used in this video was bound to break it. Besides, even for the military, they don't just expect everything to be everything proof. Just because a knife is in black class with 3V steel, it doesn't mean it should be prying proof, bulletproof, fireproof. If you want to open up a list of situations a technical knife could encounter, then I can tell you that a tactical knife must survive a grenade explosion to qualify. Designing a product that is everything proof will just add a lot of weight and cost and become uncomfortable to use and carry. I think some knife collectors have skewed perceptions of the purpose of this knife based on limited knowledge of mechanical engineering and metallurgy. This knife blade is made very thin for its length and needs a tougher steel for it to function well for a blade of this length. Standard soldiers or police officers would love this knife because it weighs almost like nothing and carries comfortably on their body. On video, this is hard to show. Having one in hand, you know it's made for lightweight and a very good cutting tool. And if you use the correct technique, the knife can be used for some intelligent, abusive tasks. It's so ironic, people actually don't want to use tactics when they use a tactical knife. It's called a tactical knife for a reason. Professionals don't just shut their eyes and use their tools without knowing the strength and weakness of their tool. In fact, they even learn to do regular maintenance on their tools. Also, there's plenty of use for it in normal daily life of a soldier. It's a very tactical but lightweight Swiss Army knife. Not every soldier has to engage combat every day, you know. The tip of this knife is made to be very pointy and will stay that way for a long time and serves you well if used in the correct techniques. It is a very small and thin knife and cannot simply just replace a big and thick knife. And the 3V steel is just to provide the adequate strength while compensating for the thin and pointy blade. In contrary, if this blade was made out of 1/8 or 1/4 inches thick 3V steel on a mostly plastic handle, then it would make no sense. But the fact the handle broke at the same time the blade bent means that they were made to an excellent blade to handle strength ratio. For a reputable company like Benchmade, it is actually easy to design a super tough knife. But making a lightweight knife with reasonable strength is actually harder. Knowing where to and where not to cut down the weight is not actually that easy to do. It should be very obvious that the knives in this picture have very different constructions and purposes. Every design achieves something by sacrificing something else. So you say, but see, my Emerson or Strider knives survived prying open wooden blocks, and they have somewhat pointy tips. Look! First of all, good for you, sir. But how confident are you that your knife can survive consistently when prying like this without any breakage? A good tool should serve its intended purpose consistently for a long time, not breaking a tip after prying a few times. Some people like to argue, but a knife without a tip is still a knife. A knife broken is not a knife. But are you still able to drive your knife into a wooden block and continue to achieve your goal after the tip is gone? Also, just because something is not broken yet, it doesn't mean it's not on its way to failure. Too many things can and will fail on a folding knife if you continue to challenge it. Prying with a knife is also a huge danger to yourself because it may break at any time without warning you. The knife that has seemingly indestructible construction can become a ticking time bomb that gives you a false sense of security. Did you notice that even cold steel knives come with a warning not to abuse their knives? Because you will dramatically reduce the knife's lifetime. Would a real prying bar ever come with a warning that you shouldn't pry with it? So in my opinion, a knife with plastic handle, at least, doesn't give you that false sense of security, and encourages you to use it carefully. Every product can fail under the right condition. Send me any of your supposedly hard-to-use knives. I can break it for you for free of charge. The prying test is not a very good test to test whether a knife is a good tactical knife at all. Please subscribe so you can watch the part 2 of this video. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.